They say that if you travel far enough, you'll meet yourself. That wherever you go becomes a part of you. And so much of who we are is where we've been. As a documentary director, I've been traveling for 20 years. I've spent a lifetime of airports, hotels, disaster, victory, noise, silence, misery, pain, beauty, love, poverty, adventure, and everything in between. I've traveled to every corner of Southern Africa, hardly having time to even know what town I'm in. Sometimes it all just feels like a blur. Tolkien said, "Not all those who wander are lost," but I wandered and I felt lost. I'd seen so much, but I'd never stopped to take it all in. One day, African Overland Tours hired me to film a 32-day adventure across Southern Africa. From my home in Cape Town, up the west coast of South Africa, through Namibia, across Botswana and into Zimbabwe. So I packed my bags, jumped into a bus with 15 international tourists and set off. And it changed me. The desert does something to you, especially just after sunset, when the sky turns into a rainbow across the horizon. The blues and the purples mix into the reds and the oranges, and you feel so small, smaller than you've ever felt, and it's humbling. You're just human. I've been in many deserts, but the Namib holds a different power. It reminded me again of who I am. The first animals we saw was in northern Namibia on the Etosha Pan. I've seen 1,000 giraffes. They're cool, but they really don't excite me anymore. But when you're in a truck with 15 other people seeing their very first giraffe, man, that was the best giraffe I'd ever seen. And that experience continued. Every animal I'd ever seen, I was seeing with fresh eyes. There was something beautiful about sharing that experience that again reminded me of who I am. It reminded me to be excited about the things I sometimes take for granted. When we got into Botswana, everything was flat. Every tree was the same height. I remember being so annoyed that every single drone shot in Botswana looked the same. But under that shallow canopy were more animals and more wildlife than I'd ever seen. Waking up to the sound of lions roaring 20 meters away from my tent in the Okavango Delta was one of the most powerfully humbling experiences I've ever had. The elephant walking through our campsite was also mind-blowing. Floating through the delta on a mokoro, seeing elephants right up close, realizing that we were completely at their mercy. That was life-changing. We were at the mercy of animals that were so much bigger and so much wiser and so much more adapted to this world than we were. Crossing into Zimbabwe, we headed straight for the Victoria Falls, the biggest waterfall in the world by sheer volume, and I saw it for the first time from a helicopter. This was another incredible experience that again made me feel so tiny and so insignificant compared to this giant beast that has been known for thousands of years as Mosi Uatunya, the smoke that thunders. And then I experienced the waterfall canyon, hanging from the end of a rope.
Right, 3, 2, 1, jump!
And that right there is the face of somebody who just faced his own mortality. Someone who had travelled the world for 20 years and had never taken any of it in. This is the face of a man who, after 32 days trekking across southern Africa, realised for the first time in many years who he really is. He's just a man on a journey, and that every place he visits becomes a part of him. And so much of who he is where he's been.